Hi guys, today is Tuesday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Today we are going to be doing lesson 13.1, which is equivalence with customary units of length. So today we're going to be doing linear measurements. One thing that I just wanted to make mention of is that we're going to be using my guided notes for this topic. I sent an email to your parents with the links for every single set of guided notes that we're going to be using for the next 3 weeks. So, if they could print them out, that would be ideal. But if you don't have a printer, that's okay too. If your parents didn't get a chance to see my email yet, you can also print them out as we go along. So, like today, I have attached lessons 13.1. Our guided notes for this particular lesson are attached in our Google Classroom assignment. So you can grab them there if you can. And if you don't have a printer, don't worry. As we go along, just take as many notes as you can. Make sure that you have scrap paper next to you and kind of follow along as we're going. You should be writing down as much as you can. But these notes are a little bit wordy, so you don't have to have every single thing copied down in your notes. All right. The next thing I want to talk about really quickly before we start the actual lesson is the measurement and data topic 13 cheat sheet. So I did also attach this to today's assignment, and I also attached it to the email that I sent your parents. And if nothing else, if you could at least either print this out or copy it down, this is probably the single most important piece of paper for this topic. You're allowed to use this cheat sheet for any quizzes, any tests that we have in this unit. So it really is going to become something that you refer to often. I want to add a little something to your cheat sheet today. I don't know if you remember, but yesterday we were talking on Zoom. I also had it in my video yesterday for ways to remember how to convert customary measurement. So we came up with some acronyms. BSM. So when you start with a bigger unit and you go to a small unit, you want to multiply. Big to small, multiply. And we came up with big, smelly monkeys. So picture in your mind like a few big, really giant big monkeys that are just really stinky and smelly, and get that visual in your mind. Big, smelly monkeys. So when you have a big unit to a small unit, you multiply. BSM. This is the one we probably do a little bit more often. But sometimes we have to go from a smaller unit of measurement to a bigger one. SBD, right? So when we go from small to big, you're going to divide. And an acronym to remember that by is SBD, small babies dancing. It's just a kind of a way to remember it. So picture in your head some little tiny small babies, and they're dancing away. Kind of a good visual to have. All right. I'm going to put this to the side, but not too far, because you want to keep it handy for our lesson. Another thing that I made that you could do this at home, I just took I cut out of our workbook these little tables, and I glued them onto a single piece of paper, and I called it my customary cheat sheet. And having this near me is going to be really helpful as we move through the topic. So I'm going to keep very close. All right, let's get started with our guided notes for today. We are on lesson 13.1, and our goal is to convert customary units of length from one unit to another, also recognizing the relative size of different units. Okay, here's another cheat sheet up here. We can look at that. And just a reminder, to change from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we're going to multiply. Some people use L as, LSM, large, small, multiply. I like BSM, big, smelly monkeys, right? Big to small, multiply. We can also do, if we start with a smaller unit and go to a larger unit, we would divide, right? SLD, or I like using a B instead of an L. So I might say SBD, and that would stand for small to big divide, or small babies dancing. All right, let's get started on some of our questions. Okay. Kevin jogged 75 yards from his house to school. How many feet did Kevin jog? All right, So we're going from yards to feet, right? 75 yards equals blank feet. Well, I always like to set it up like this. So when you think about it, a yard, right? And feet and yards. And we know that this one ruler here is 1 foot, right? And we also know, if we look on our cheat sheet over here, right, 1 yard is three of these rulers, end to end, would be like a yardstick, right? One of those big sticks that I have in my classroom. So I'm going here, yards are bigger than feet. So I'm going from big to small. And when I do that, big to small, I'm going to multiply, right? BSM, big, smelly monkeys. All right. So I know in 1 yard, it's 3 feet. So in 75 yards, if I'm going to multiply by 3, what am I going to get? So 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So to find our answer, we multiply. 75 times 3 is 225. So Kevin jogged 225 feet. Pretty easy, right? All right, let's try another one. Actually, let's go down. I think we're going to go down first. Let's try it now with our multiplying. So the length of a table is 2.5 feet plus 2.5 feet. How many inches is the table? So to find that, I always like to just rewrite it. 2.5 plus 2.5. And what are we going to get? Let's just do the math quickly here, right? If we have 2 plus 2, that's 4, and a half plus a half is 1. So 2.5 plus 2.5 would be 5. So we have 5 feet equals blank inches. Okay. So think about that. We're going from feet to inches. So feet, like this is a foot, my ruler, right? Inches are these tiny little pieces, right? One ruler has 12 inches. So we're going from a larger or a bigger unit of measurement to a smaller unit of measurement. So big, smelly monkeys. We could also do big silly monkeys or big smelly monkeys. I guess it doesn't matter, right? All right, so I'm going to multiply. Well, what do I multiply by, you may ask, And you think about it. 1 foot is 12 inches. So 5 feet, if we had 5 of them, right, it would be 5 times 12. And you may already know that 5 times 12 is 60. All right, let's fill in these. So we are going from a big unit to a smaller unit. So we need to multiply. Okay, 1 foot is 12 inches. So 2.5 feet plus 2.5 feet would be 60 inches. All right. Now let's talk about how it would look if we're going to divide instead. So instead of going from big to small, we're now going to go small to big. Mary has a tree swing and the rope has a length of 120 inches. How many feet long is the rope? So we're going from inches to feet, right? The little tiny ones, this is an inch, right? To the bigger one, the feet. So when we go from smaller to larger, we divide. SBD, small babies dancing, right? Small to big, divide. So we know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So how many feet would be in 120 inches? So we have to do 120 divided by 12. And we can probably do that mental math. What 12 times what is 120? 10. So the rope is going to be 10 feet long. Let's try another one. Now for this one, I actually don't like how this is written. When you think about it, how many yards is 12 feet? I like to think of it like this. 12 feet equals blank yards. Okay. So we're going here And I just want to actually think about this problem before we even divide or multiply or anything like that, right? Let's just think about the problem. So if I have 12 rulers, right, that would be 12 feet. Okay. Just picture that in your mind. And I'm trying to make yards out of that. Am I going to have a smaller number or a bigger number? Right? Think about it. If I have 12 rulers, well, it takes three rulers. I'm going to just draw a little picture. It's three rulers end to end would make 1 yard. So that's 1 yard. That would be 2 yards. That would be 3 yards. How many do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So it's going to be a smaller number. So I'm going from something that's small, right? Feet, to something that's bigger. So small babies, I'm going to divide. All right, so let me fill that in. I'm going from a small unit to a bigger unit. So we need to divide. All right. I also know that 1 foot equals, I'm sorry, yeah, let me do that backwards. 1 yard equals 3 feet, right? So if there's 3 foot or 3 feet rather in 1 yard, right? How many would there be in if we had 12 feet, right? So we want to divide. We want to say 12 divided by 3, and that is going to give us 4 yards. So 12 feet equals 4 yards. And I'm just going to have you cross this off. I don't like the way that they worded that. Okay, we already did it down there anyway. 1 yard equals 3 feet. All right, let's try some more problems. Flip your paper over to the second piece of paper. All right, so this is, if we were in school, we would be doing this independent practice. Up here is just a basic conversion chart. We want to always think when we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we have to multiply. And always write the basic unit conversion underneath the original, right? So think about that as you're doing your math. If your measurement is a mixed number, like 3.5, you could either use the distributive property. I like to turn every mixed number into an improper fraction before I do the math. It just works for me. All right, so let's take a look. We have 8 yards equals how many inches? All right, we got this. So think about it, yards and inches. We're going from, right, yards, which is bigger, B, to a smaller, so we're going to M multiply. So how many inches is in 1 yard, right? If we look over here, we can know there are 36 inches in 1 yard. So let's see, 1 yard equals 36 inches. So in 8 yards, we just have to multiply, right? 36 times 8, set our problem up. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 is 28. So your answer is 288 inches. All right, let's try another one. Let's switch my color. 18 feet is how many inches? Okay, pause the video, see if you can do this on your own. So we're going from feet to inches. So feet, think about it, is like a ruler. Inches are the tiny ones. So we're going from big to small. We want to multiply, right? So feet and inches, if we look on our cheat sheet, well, we know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot, right? So how many inches are going to be in 18 feet, right? We got to multiply. So 18 times 12. Okay, 8 times 2. And I got 216. So 216 inches would be our answer. All right, let's try another one. 7 miles is how many yards? All right, I'm going from big to small, multiply. So I know that there are 1,760 yards in 1 mile, right? So if there's 1,760 yards in 1 mile, how many would there be in 7 miles? That's going to be even bigger, right? So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to do that math over here. 1,760 times 7 from my 7 miles there. Okay. 7 times 0 is 0. 6 times 7 is 42. 49, 50, 51, 52. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And bam, we have 12,320. That's our answer. All right, let's do one more. 28 yards is how many feet? All right, so we're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. So we are going to multiply. Big smelly monkeys. Okay. How many feet are in 1 yard? Right? Let's look over here. How many feet are in 1 yard? Well, there's 3 feet in 1 yard. So they want, if we had 28 yards, how many feet would that be? We're going to multiply. So we're going to do 28 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 6, 7, 8. So it'd be 84 feet. All right. So these are examples without mixed numbers. Now we're going to add in some fractions and see how it looks. It's really not that much more difficult. All right. Let's take a look. If we have 1/3 of a yard, how many feet is that? Again, where are we going? We're going from yard to feet. So that would be big to small, multiply. So how many feet are in 1 yard? 3, right? 3 feet in 1 yard. We know that there. Let's just write that. Okay, so we're going to multiply 1/3 times 3. And let's do it over here. 1/3 times 3. Now remember, if it's a whole number, then you better put a 1 under it. Right? Remember that, guys? So we'll put a 1 under it. And now we're going to multiply. Top times top over bottom times bottom. So 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. And 3 over 3 is 1 whole. So 1/3 of a yard is 1 foot. Okay, and that makes sense because picture it, a yardstick is 3 of these, right? And if you only have 1/3 of it, you have 12 inches or 1 foot. All right, let's do the next one. 2/3 of a yard. All right, so we have 2/3 of a yard is going to be how many inches? Okay, we're going from yards to inches. So big, silly monkeys. Big to small, multiply. All right, so how many inches are in 1 yard? That's what we need to find out. If we look on our cheat sheet, we know there's 36 inches in 1 yard. So in 2/3 of a yard, how many inches would that be? So let's multiply 2/3 times 36. If it's a whole number, then you better put a 1 under it. So there it is. All right. Now, if I want to save myself some time, I could do some cross canceling. So I don't have to multiply 2 times 36. If I look, 3 and 36, right? They're both divisible by 3. So if I divide 3 by 3, I would get 1. If I divide 36 by 3, I would get 12. So now I have it much easier. What's 2 times 12? Well, that would be 24. 1 times 1 is 1, and that would just equal whole number 24. So 2/3 of a yard is 24 inches. And that makes sense too, because think about it. If we had a yard, that would be 3 rulers lined up end to end. 2/3 of that would be 2 out of the 3, right, rulers. And if you had 2 rulers all together, it's 12 plus 12, which would be 24. Right, let's do 2 more left. 1.5 feet equals how many inches? We're doing feet to inches, big, small, multiply. Well, how many inches are in 1 foot? We know there's 12 inches in 1 foot. All right. So we're going to multiply. We're going to do 12 times 1.5. Now, I don't like to multiply mixed numbers. I'd rather just convert it into an improper fraction. So I'm going to go 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 would be 3/2, right? It's another way to say it. And if it's a whole number, then you better put a 1 under it. All right, and now I have this problem here. 12 times 3 over 1 times 2. I also could do some cross canceling here if I wanted to. I could divide both of these by 2. So 2 divided by 2 would be 1. 12 divided by 2 would be 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. This would just be 18. So 18 inches is my answer. All right. And our last one, yards to feet, right? So again, big, small, multiply. How many feet are in 1 yard, right? 3 feet in 1 yard. And again, I'm getting that right from my conversion. So I want to multiply 6 1/3 times 3. Okay, I like to convert this mixed number into an improper. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So it'd be 19/3 times 3 over 1. And then I can actually cross cancel, and both of these get reduced to 1. 19 times 1 is 19. 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer would be 19 feet. And that's that. All right. I hope you guys understood this, took it in. Measurement can be super duper tricky, and I don't expect you to get it all in one sitting. We're going to be doing lots and lots of practice, more practice with multiplying fractions, more practice with big smelly monkeys and small babies dancing. And by the end, you're going to be a measurement pro. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Have a great